right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Ruel. Peace, blessings, salutations to the full elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to His truth with our sincerity. All right, and may the blessing of election be upon your houses. All right, the title and topic of this lesson is going to be, all right, those who offend the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai will be judged. All right, those who offend the men of the Lord will be judged. All right, when we look at these different groups, right, you look at your Sakari, you know, you see what happened with them, right? They was, you know, the head guy Sakari was talking shit, you know, offending, right? You look at, you know, the guy Polite, you know, you see what happened to him, you know, shit. Even also these fallouts, man. You know, a lot of times you see that people fall out and then they start coming up against the apostles, coming up against, you know, the brothers and so forth, you know, talking shit, bugging out and so forth, man. You see their latter outcome. All right, you know, so it is a thing to be cautious of, I could say, you know, to not offend the men of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai, to not offend the Lord's little ones, man. All right, because the Lord will judge you, man. Okay, but let's just jump straight into these precepts. This is 2 Chronicles, the 36th chapter, starting at I'll start at verse 15. It reads, "And the Lord, our power of their fathers, sent to them by His messengers, rising up betimes, and sending because He had compassion on His people and on His dwelling place. But they mocked the messengers of God and despised His words and misused His prophets, until the wrath of the Lord arose against His people, so there was no remedy." Right? And that's what these people do, man. Right? They mock the messengers of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai. They misuse the prophets, man. We on the highways and hedges, man. You know, shit. You know, people talk shit. They scoff. They mock. They try to make fun of. You know, they are offending, you know, the Lord's little ones, man. All right? And in reality, they're really sealing their own judgment, man. All right? Because that is really what you're doing when you are offending, you know, one of the Lord's little ones, man. When you are offending a prophet of Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai, right? You are really sealing your judgment at that point, man. Right? Because in this place, hey, these people don't care, man. Right? Because we don't walk or portray or promote the things of this world, right? We basically go against the grain. You know, we are in other words, an anomaly. You know, they hate us, man. So they try to come up against us, right? Again, that's like going back again to that constant battle between the left hand side and the right hand side, good and evil, wickedness and righteousness, man. All right, and they constantly make mockery of us, man. And those that do that, right? The Lord's going to judge you, man. The Lord's going to destroy you, man. Right? Matter of fact, let me get this too. In Matthew, the 18th chapter, verse 6, going to show you how serious it is, right, to offend one of the Lord's little ones. Matthew 18:6, and it reads, "But whoso shall offend one of these little ones which believe in me, it were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were drowned in the depth of the sea." Right? So it's better for you to basically have a millstone wrapped around your neck and thrown in the sea than to offend one of the little ones, one of the Lord's little ones, going to show you how serious and how terrible that judgment is gonna be, man. All right? You know, a lot of these people, they hop on the train, the bandwagon of, you know, making videos, you know, to come up against the apostles, to come up against the brothers, you know, to talk shit and so forth, man. Right? It's really kind of, you know, I guess you could say like a fangirl behavior, man. You know, trying to, you know, basically be like the shade room in other terms, man. Right? And you're seeing that start to be as a trend, man. Right? And hey, that's expected, man. And as we get closer to the end, that's going to be a more occurring thing, man. for people to try to come against the prophets, for people to try to demonize the prophets, for people to have a reason to point their fingers at the prophets, man. All right? That's why Scripture tells us, right, to not make the ministry blame, right? Right? That's why we are mindful of how we move, man. Right? We walk the walk and talk the talk, man. Right? On and off the cameras, man. Right? You see some of these other groups, some of these other camps, man. Right? They'll portray themselves to be one thing, to the congregation. But once that camera shut off and they're by themselves, or they're in the shadows, or they're going through their day-to-day life, they're full-blown demons, man. Right? Doing all types of wickedness, man. Right? Right? A lot of times now when you see things happen, when you see, certain things happen, right, they'll get ready to point that finger and be like, oh, that's those Israelite guys, man. That's why, Great Millstone, we don't affiliate with these other camps, man. All right? Because a lot of these leaders in these other camps, man, they bugged out, teaching false doctrine, right? Leading the flock astray, doing all types of wickedness in the shadows, man. All right? Again, right? All these things really add up to show you, right, the times that we are in. All right? And those that do try to come up against, again, those that do try to come up against and offend, hey, terrible judgment is coming your way, man. All right? Because at the end of the day, what we doing? All we doing is teaching the truth. We teaching the truth, man. We prophesying, teaching the truth. But yet these people hate us, man. Right? Yet these people want to scoff at us on the highways and hedges. Right? Scoff at us on the comment section, man. All right? But hey, so what? It is what it is, man. At the end of the day, we are here to serve Yahweh B'Shem Al-Shah, whether this place likes us or not, man. All right? But those that offend, you're going to have a terrible judgment, man. This is John the 15th chapter, verse 18. And it reads, if the world hate you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. If you were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hated you. Right? And this place hates us, man. Right? Like I was saying earlier, because we go against the grain. Right? We don't promote the wickedness that this world promotes, man. We speak against the wickedness, man. We promote righteousness, man. All right? And these people still want to scoff, misuse the prophets, offend the prophets, and so forth, man. All right? I want to get this account real quick and then I'll close it out. Just going to an example of what happened to, these children that offended, a prophet, This is, this is 2 Kings, the 2nd chapter, right? This is account that's going into kids that was offending Elisha. And it reads, 2 Kings, the 2nd chapter, verse 23, and it reads, and he went up from thence unto Bethel, and he was going up by the way, and there came forth little children out of the city, and mocked him, and said unto him, go up, thou bald head, go up, thou bald head. And he turned back and looked on them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. And there came forth 2 she-bears out of the woods, and tare 42 children of them. Right? So those children was offending the prophet Elisha, was mocking him, right? And what he did, he turned around and put a curse on him, man. And shortly after that curse, what happened? 2 she-bears came through and put them all to death, man. All right? It's a serious matter to offend one of the Lord's little ones, man. Shit, another account too. When we were on the highways and hedges, right, at the camp, right, there was this guy that was selling mangoes, right? And, long story short, he turned to a demon, man. Started offending brothers, talking shit about brothers' appearances and so forth, man. Threatening brothers, saying he was going to kill brothers, shoot brothers, stab brothers, fight brothers, and all these different things, man. All right? And he was really causing a whole scene. And what we did, we put up a curse on that dude, man. We put up a curse on him, man. Because best believe that dude offended every single last brother that was out there that day, man. And we put up a curse on that dude, man. After that curse, we didn't even see him for like another, 2 weeks maybe. We didn't see him. And then we seen him again, right? couple weeks after. And when he was walking by, he looked like he was getting tormented, man. He looked like he was going through it. Right? He didn't even want to make eye contact with brothers, man. He was head down, looking straight forward, you know, bowing his head a little bit, looking straight forward, just, you know, walking straight, man. Right? Best believe, man, the Lord jacked him up for that, man. And a lot of the times, right, we see brothers put up curses on these wicked dudes, man. The Lord judged them, man. Right? Shit, sometimes some dudes we put curses on, we don't even see them no more after that, man. All right? So it is a very serious matter to offend one of the Lord's prophets, man. To offend one of the Lord's little ones, man. That's why it's important to be mindful of how you treat brothers, man. It's important to be mindful of how you go about dealing with brothers, man. All right? Because you don't want to offend one of the Lord's little ones, man. All right? Not to, ramble on and make this too long-winded. The point pretty much was already made. But again, those who offend the prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shah, the true prophets of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shah, Lord willing, we are those, man. All right? Are going to receive a terrible judgment, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Al-Shah. They're going to get destroyed, man. All right? Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect of Israel. All right? With that being said, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Ruach HaKodesh, the Ba'ans of the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who well, peace, blessings, salutations to the full elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening to this truth with our sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and a ball, Kwame Sharala, shalom.